This is the uncomfortable reality of moving abroad. So I moved abroad from the UK at the age of 21, and it was, I keep saying it, I always say it, but it's the best thing I ever did. I have absolutely no regrets with moving abroad. However, there are obviously some difficult things about moving abroad, and I'm going to talk to you about a few of them today. A few things that you have to get comfortable with when you move, and a couple of barriers that you have to get past if you're going to make the leap and actually move abroad yourself. Some of these things will be harder for certain people. Some of these things were hard for me. Some of them weren't difficult at all, but for you guys it could be completely different. Some of these things could be a massive barrier between you and moving abroad. And to get your best experience out of moving, these are the things that you have to get over. So I've made a list of 5 points and we're going to go through them today. So starting off with number 1, and that is the fear of taking a leap away from your career or your job which you've done your whole life. To a lot of people do just have their one career and it's all they know, and they've stuck in that career their whole life. That's a lot of people. Some people job hop, some people experiment, they do different jobs, they try different things. But for I think a lot of people, particularly in the UK, I think people get comfortable very, very quickly in a job or a career, and they just stick that out because to them moving and leaving that job or trying something new is too much of a risk. And I can see it, to be honest, because I wasn't one of them people that stuck in one career. I've had so many jobs, I've literally job hopped so much, which is definitely why I find it easier to make a big leap, because I've tried so many different things, which means I actually have experience in lots of different things. But it can be a big leap if you've done one career your whole life. Maybe you went to uni and studied it and now you're working in that career and it's all you know. I can understand why that's a big leap. However, you've got to think of the consequences. If you just stick in that job, you know how your life's going to look in 5 years time, 10 years time. It's going to be the exact same. Maybe your pay might go up a little bit, but there's not going to be much difference. But if you move and travel and move abroad, your life is going to be so much better. It will be harder in some aspects, but the positives will be way higher than anything you would have had just stuck in that job. So the first point is to get over the fear of leaving a career or leaving something that you know, because realistically, especially you lot who are in a career and you've stopped growing, you've stopped learning in that career and you're just kind of stagnant, you're not going to learn any new skills compared to if you move abroad, and you're instantly going to start learning so much. Number 2 is homesickness, but specifically missing friends and family. Now I think this is one of the biggest reasons to why people don't move abroad, or one of the most common things that people actually do struggle with, because it's understandable if you're moving away from home, from everyone you know. It definitely, it's a big leap and it can be difficult. Yeah, it can definitely be difficult, especially for me. To be honest, I've always said I never really felt particularly homesick during my time living abroad. The only thing that I did struggle with is I was kind of worried that my relationships with friends and family, particularly my friends, was fading because I hadn't spoken to them anywhere near as much. So it was kind of a bit of a worry for me that the relationships were fading. Some people who move abroad will feel the exact same. In fact, I think a lot of people will feel the same as what I did. Some people will feel extremely homesick and really miss everyone, and that's just natural, that's part of it. But it's one of the things that you have to come to terms with when you move abroad. First of all, just accepting that you're going to be homesick sometimes and you're going to miss people. That's completely natural. It is one of the downsides of moving, but you've always got to remind yourself why you've moved. And although there's difficult bits such as missing home, the positives of moving abroad are going to be so much more positive that it completely outweighs any homesickness. So you don't need to be scared of that. You can FaceTime people. That generally really helps me. If I've spoken to my family on the phone on the weekend, like instantly I feel better. Like you just feel more connected. If you're messaging your friends, sending voice notes and stuff, like calling them, whatever, you instantly feel more connected. So it's just about finding little ways when you move abroad to actually still connect with people. And this point will affect everyone differently. I expected to land in Australia and instantly get this like sinking feeling of, oh my god, like I'm so far from home, I really miss everyone. I really didn't get that. I really felt at home and comfortable straight away, but that's just me. Certain people will land in Australia or their new destination and instantly just really miss home. It affects everyone differently, but I think it's natural, and I wouldn't let it put you off moving abroad because it is part of it. And over time, it will get easier, and it's one of them things that comes in waves. You're not constantly gonna feel homesick for the whole time. It's one of them things that comes in waves, and it's just about riding them waves. Number 3, the next point is scared of running out of money, particularly when traveling, but when you move as well, it can be a bit of a scary thought, especially considering you're moving to a new country. A lot of the time you're not gonna have work set up. I've never had work set up before moving somewhere. I've always had to get to that place and then find work. I've done it in multiple different cities and multiple countries now. But yeah, it's a scary thought knowing you're moving somewhere and you haven't got a job yet, and you haven't got a house, and you've only got a certain amount of money. Or when you're traveling and you've set yourself that you want to travel for this long and you haven't got that much money left. Like, it is scary because no one wants to run out of money, but it is avoidable. It's about being very careful at the start with what you're spending. Obviously, if you should always put away a certain amount of money, a few £1,000s maybe aside, that you're not going to touch at all, and it's just there for if you do run out of money. And worst case, like, you can just move home or something, or book a flight home, or I know no one wants to do this, but they could ask people for a bit of money for a flight home or something. You're not going to end up homeless. There's always options. And I think a lot of people, yeah, they are scared of moving. I'm not gonna lie, I only moved to Australia with a few £1,000s, and because I was confident in my ability to get a job, I was fine, and I ended up getting a job and saving up pretty well. And it's one of them things, you have to be confident. You have to tell yourself it's going to be fine. Like, I'm going to get a job, I'm going to make money. You have to tell yourself that. If you go into it fearful, then it's not a good way to go into it. You have to go into it with confidence and think, I'm going to get a job, I'm going to be fine. Because yeah, you don't want to be stressing about money the whole time. Number 4 is afraid of the move not working out. I feel like a lot of people are scared that they're taking such a big leap, and they're like, what if it goes wrong? What if I have a terrible time? What if I hate it? What if I regret moving? Yeah, all of this is natural, and just like, it does depend on the person. I moved abroad and instantly I knew that it was the best decision ever, but other people could move and instantly regret it, and that is natural as well. And what you need to remember is, like, you're not tied. Like, if you move abroad and you hate it, like, you can just move home. And I know that's a bit shit, but even from that, there's still positives to take, because at least you're going to learn something in the process of moving, and you'll have learned what you like, what you don't like, and at least you would have given it a go. And in the future, it's not gonna you're not gonna have this thing inside of you like, oh, I really regret that I never tried living abroad. At least you tried it, and even if it didn't work out, that's fine. Do you know what I mean? I feel like so many people are scared that it's not gonna work out, but it's okay if it doesn't work out. You can just move, and you're gonna learn lots in the process, and at least you would have given it a go. But realistically, for a lot of you lot, like I said, if you go into it with confidence, it's gonna be the best decision you make. It really is. A lot of the things that can go wrong is all in your own mind, like you overthinking things. It's mad what can happen when you overthink so much. And number 5 is the fear of the unknown. This is completely natural. When you're moving abroad and traveling, you are stepping into a completely new environment, especially, like I said, for you lot who have just worked at home their whole lives and have just stuck in one job and you don't really know anything different. The fear of the unknown can be scary, especially when you move. Like I said, when you're in a career at home, you can predict how the next 5-10 years realistically are gonna look in your life. When you travel, when you move abroad, sometimes it's hard to even know what's gonna happen next week. But for me, that's one of the positives of moving, because it keeps life interesting. It keeps it, it keeps you always looking forward to something. It stops you from living this system life where it's just the same every week. But the downside of that is, there is a lot of unknown, and a lot of people are scared of that. But like I said, again, the confidence thing and just trusting in yourself and telling yourself that no matter what happens, it's going to be all right, it's going to work out. Whatever happens in the future happens. There's no point stressing the whole time about moving, about what could happen in the future. So you need to get over the fear of the unknown and look at it more as excitement. Like, for example, if someone doesn't know, it does depend on what sort of person you are, but say you don't know what's going to happen next month, a lot of people will look at that as a scary thing and they hate the thought of that. However, you can also look at it as an exciting thing, and it's like, well, anything could happen. We could get a massive opportunity, we could be traveling in this place, we might meet some other travelers and do something with them. That's the best thing about it, and it's about turning the stresses of that into excitement. So they are some uncomfortable truths of moving abroad, a couple of things which you just, you need to accept and you need to get comfortable with when you move, because no doubt you're gonna encounter at least a few of them, if not all of them, at some point when you're moving. But it's part of moving, and it's about accepting that they're gonna be there and moving forward. But for me, they're just a couple of negative things about the whole process. If it goes well, it's the best thing ever. For me, there's a few negatives that have happened when moving, but if I look at the memories we've made over the last couple of years, it massively outweighs anything difficult. So if you need any other help with moving, feel free to check out my links in the description. I've got a moving abroad guide, which is for sale now for anyone who needs help with moving abroad. To save you asking any questions, feel free to subscribe to the channel and give the video a like. Thank you for the support recently. We've been going up pretty quick, which is nice. And I will see you very soon with another video.